Welcome to your pre-tournament analysis of South Africa. This analysis project has only been made possible by our amazing sponsorship partners. Thank you again to Sideline Stats, Briar Limited, InMotion Sports Agency, Educamus Tuition, MGN, Moliteum and the Gauntlet Young Team. These are amazing companies and it's an absolute honour that they've agreed to be part of this project. South Africa's style of play is quite basic, it's quite forward, it's quite direct to try and get in the opponent's half so they can then play and build in that area. They're capable of building out, of course, against lesser teams, but this is going to be the World Cup. They're not going to have that opportunity. So I think what you will see is slightly less risk, try and get it in the opponent's middle third to final third, and then start to play football from there, getting numbers around the ball, even when it breaks here, making sure they're picking up possession. But their structure is very, very good. You will see the two centre-halves and two centre-mids very rarely move away from this. One fullback will attack, the other fullback will stay. They'll try and keep that box 4+1 in there. Now, the movement of the left wing and left back is going to be key for them. Oswin Apollos is a top player, was great in qualifying, created most of their chances, had a high dribble accuracy and scored a lot of goals. So he's very talented. So the combinations between him and the left back and the other attacking mid, you'll see here he's now gone beyond, cutting inside. He's pivotal in this just from his movements, from his involvements. It obviously then becomes a top goal later on in the move here. But that facilitation of left winger going in, left back going beyond, like I said, Apollos, 6 goals involvements in the 5 starts, 18 chances created and a 55% dribble accuracy is incredible. But this is what we'll probably see a lot of. He's going to be somebody who's really exciting for me, so I hope he's fully fit, I hope he makes it, and I hope he's ready to bring the World Cup. Like I said, that box 4 structure, that left wing moving in and allowing the left back to go beyond allows direct play like this, and then allows the centre forward to attack the box and then cross. So although I've said it's quite basic, it's quite direct, they're still more than capable of scoring goals, creating chances and being exciting to watch. I think the biggest thing that impresses me is their defensive structure behind the ball to ensure that they don't get caught out. You kind of seen that in the video there. 5 attack, 5 stay, that tends to be their kind of go-to without oversimplifying it or killing it. But as you can see, 1v1 specialist, still capable of finding those key passes in the final third. I still think they'll be an exciting team to watch. They get the front three in tight areas as well, central combinations, and that's what allows the fullbacks to go beyond and get high. And then you've got creative players who can play in those tight areas. They get lucky with this goal, of course, after the error. But they still create that by having the fullbacks high and wide, by having the 2 wingers inside alongside the centre forward and having the 10 there, and then being able to find those little passes and those little movements in really tight areas to exploit teams and open them up. And again, lots of pace in the front 4. So if they do build out deep and teams try and press, this would be my concern, and this is maybe what will stop teams doing it against them, is blistering pace in the wings and up front. If you try and press them high, they'll turn you over. Now, one of the problems is losing the ball in transition and being caught out. So when you see the goalkeeper distribution, there's a lot of risk there. So teams that are high pressure for a pass like that, taking time on the ball, demanding that players come and show. You can see him actually signalling here that he wanted people to come and show. But again, this is during African qualifiers. This is where South Africa are one of the better teams. They had the most shots on target, the most big chances missed, the most accurate passes. They're going to a World Cup where that might not be the case. So you can see the goalkeeper dillying on the ball a little bit. Might be something they move away from. As for set plays, they were quite accurate with set plays. 3 of their 17 goals were set plays, but nothing that I would say massively stood out. But again, the caveat to doing analysis this early for the World Cup is to give you some sort of insight. As teams meet up for this World Cup, they're going to start going through set play routines. They're going to start working with their analysts to pick out what the set play should look like. This is just an example of kind of what happens when it breaks down and recycles. They don't really have like a clear what we want to do here, how we get around moving the ball. But that'll all be worked on now because they're going to go into a 4-week camp pre-World Cup where they can get there and work on these set plays. So although I'm saying these are set plays that they've tried different routines that haven't worked, this is going to be the time you're going to start seeing them use those ideas, use that time on the training ground and develop new set plays. And I'm actually really excited to see what that that starts to look like when it develops. South Africa defending now, because they're so quick to get up the pitch and because they want to exploit teams in transition with the front three and the attacking mid, they're sometimes quite slow to get back in. So similarly to Mexico, if teams play quick against them and attack quick and don't turn back on their movements and can exploit the back four and two defensive mids, play quick, combinations quick, attack quick, get into the box, they could find themselves with little chances like we're seeing in these moments here, where teams can't really get back in because the front four don't recover as quick as you would maybe want them to. Again, quick play from things like throw-ins, quick transition into play, but when it happens, make sure you're driving towards goal and don't let them get set up, because when they get set up, they are structured. It's just about kind of moving that. The high pressure, I think a lot of it they get away with from having better players, if I'm being totally honest. I think a better team have better combinations and they play through South Africa's press, which is why I think they'll maybe be more structured. The 9 and 10 rotate off each other onto the 6 to try and block the play from happening. I think teams with third man combinations playing through to a high 8 into that 6, they'll be able to break that press quite quickly. So it'll be interesting to see South Africa adapt that a little bit to make sure that's not happening, or have maybe the opposite winger to jump in and make sure those are being exploited. Because as you can see this, they kind of go once then drop, and hope that a team will go long so they can turn over the ball like that. It's just how often that's going to happen. So you can see them here, they're very much in a mid block. Players are trying to get out, but again, a better pass there and it exploits the move. Just because the level of the player, you didn't really see a whole lot of them being exploited in qualifying. So again, it'd be really good to see them at the absolute top to see what this press and defensive structure looks like, because they've been impressive in qualifying. And thank you once again to our amazing sponsors, Sideline Stats, Briar Limited, InMotion, Educamus, MGN, Moliteum and the Gauntlet Young Team. Your support is greatly appreciated. I'm delighted to have you as part of this project. If you'd like to support us in any way possible, if you like this analysis, you can do so via Buy Me a Coffee and Patreon. Thank you.